Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to... Let's try that again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second episode of Dark Souls 3, The Second Journey. I am Jake Muncie, your host, game critic for Wired.com, and kind of okay Dark Souls player. In this stream, I will be going through New Game Plus, discussing the game, its design, criticism surrounding it, and just talking about like a game critic would. I'm going to start with something new this stream, something I'm going to do multiple times. I'm going to quote another critic, share his opinion of the game, and then during the stream we'll talk back to it. So here's the quote. This is from Mr. Dragon. I'm trying to talk. You can show some respect. Okay, this is from Chris Abroad, who reviewed the game for Killscreen. Here's what Chris has to say. Chris, sorry if I butchered your last name. Dark Souls 3 isn't the kind of melancholy original that Demon's Souls was, and it doesn't pivot to another genre like Bloodborne turned toward horror. Instead, it leans into the absurdity of bringing together every idea the series ever had and throws a pretty amazing going-away party for it. When you see that old Grunton Hollow crash through his barricade one last time, his placement and delivery play like a joke. In fact, I'm convinced it is a joke. Levels are stuffed with little gags that work like the new enemy movesets, playing against the expectations of the old crowd. One famous hazard reappears in the very first level, and many who die to it will do so thinking, they wouldn't do that to me in 1-1. 1-1, of course, is a reference to the way Mario stages are laid out. Throughout his review, he talks about Dark Souls 3 as sort of the Super Mario world of Dark Souls games, wherein it sort of gathers together and refines and makes coherent the ideas in the games prior. So he talks about a little hazard. This innocence-seeking seeming little chest is that hazard. It's a mimic. Mimics were introduced in the middle of the first Dark Souls game, and I think it's the general player expectation that no, mimics wouldn't be in the first level. Mimics are really creepy dudes. Their movesets are kind of hard to read. They take time to get used to, and they're just very unnerving. I'm still frightened by them a bit when I fight them. That's why at the end of the prior stream, I died to one. He gave me the Deep Battle Axe, which is a battle axe with a certain elemental infusion on it. And so, the Mimic is emblematic of what Chris is talking about. The idea that this game, as a sequel to two prior Dark Souls games, doesn't do anything new so much as it tries to sort of reference the prior games in an interesting, surprising way. This ties back to what I said last stream, that one of the themes that I really see in this game is the idea of legacy. What is the legacy of being a person in Dark Souls' world, and what is the legacy of being Dark Souls in general? I think one of the way those preoccupations show up is in areas of the game, especially I think in this area, interest in old and new tricks. Oh, hey buddy. I'm trying to give a little intro lecture here, but you know, thanks for your input. Old and new tricks. This knight is an example of that. He seems a lot like the Baldur Knights that show up in the undead version of Dark Souls. One thing he's got going, though, is that he's a hell of a lot more aggressive and harder to manage. He works hard to punish shield heavy play. He uses weapon hearts, which you use them to break your guard and charge after you. All in all, he makes it very difficult to fight him the way you fight a knight like this in the first Dark Souls game, or even Dark Souls 2. By his sheer aggression, tenacity, and his moves that are designed to punish regular tactics, like blocking and things like that. Best way to do it is backstab, but they're hard to get. He seems designed to block against that as well, as much as he can. That shield bash is a bitch of a move. But ultimately, he's conquerable, as everything Dark Souls is. But Soul of a preoccupation. I think it's neat that they've replaced all the soul items in New Game Plus with much larger soul items that I don't remember even seeing in the main game. But at any rate, old and new tricks. I think Highwell of Lothric is especially well designed in that way, to highlight what's changed and to reference the old things. Like, a lot of these enemy types are pulled right out of the early first Dark Souls. The thieves are from Lower Undead Burg. The knights again are from the from the Upper Undead Burg and the Undead Church. That place has another better name. Bonfire Head. Exciting. And of course, the dragons are much like the classic dragon trap that appears in both Demons and Dark Souls. I mean, I think, like Chris said, they're going out of their way here to highlight the way this game is like other Dark Souls games, and they're using that knowledge to subvert and play with your expectations. So, on that note, let's explore around. Find some useful examples of this and just have a good time. We're here to have fun, guys. I'm having fun. Oh dear. Thieves again. The ladder here. Darkness, do I have my torch? No, I don't have my torch. Torches are here. Down here we have nothing. You have a door that is locked. You can see an elevator in there. And over here we have this dude, and a cheerful little trap. A trap, if you've played Bloodborne, you've seen this trap before. What he does is he throws a firebomb into these barrels, and they explode. Was this? Yeah, it was. Sorry, I wasn't sure if that treasure was there in the original new game. But it is. The Mail Breaker. Hey bud. Another thief. Again, something you see a lot in Dark Souls 1. This little winking. Yeah, we've been here before. We've done this. I know. You know. Let's have some fun with it. A dude in there, sitting cross-legged, a lot like Lautrec. In the first Dark Souls, again, more just little references and touches, and feelings that, you know, I've been here before. I've done something like this. And that sense of strategic deja vu in the level design and the enemy makeup is, I think, absolutely purposeful here, and I think it's very interesting. Another dragon. Those scales, ashes coming off them. They look like ashes. Everything's been on fire and everything's been reduced to ashes. That's the state of the world, it seems. Iron round shield, cool. I probably have one of those. Try fire. So, cool. And here, got a little Daniel Hollows. Another one of these guys. Again, this is, I think, a tactic designed particularly to trip up old players. Placing these guys in front. Typically, a large group of hollows like that is not very good. In fact, very easy to beat. If you're paying attention. These guys are something else entirely. This guy's gonna kill me. He's super gonna kill me. You know? That was the wrong button. Why not? I have a packet. He's dead. He drops an ember. Very nice. Yeah, those guys exist to disturb that regular rhythm, I feel like. And Crystal Lizard, and a returning feature, is a Titanite. Pretty cool. This gives us a pretty good panorama of the rest of the level. See, there's a treasure up there, which I don't remember from the past, so that's interesting. How do you even get there? We'll see. Then you can see this little fountain area with one living guy patrolling around it. What looks like the remnants of a nasty battle. And then you have more treasure. Some blood stains. People went for that treasure, didn't seem to quite make it. There's a ladder here, but I like to just drop down. It's fun. Archers here. The archers are here for a very particular purpose, to thread you into this ambush. Dark Souls really likes lures like that. It likes to pull you into hostile territory, to trick you into falling for ambushes in your interest in attacking quickly. Not a particularly difficult ambush, mind you, but an ambush. That's probably pretty close to full, but I want to make sure. We got you. Another archer here. Any layout here feels pretty standard. I got an Estus back. I don't know if you noticed that. I'm not sure why this happens. I think it's related to just very basic, sometimes when an enemy dies this happens, a sort of random thing. But occasionally when you kill an enemy, you will get an Estus flask back. I think... Where did you even come from? I don't remember you. Oh dear. I think they might be designed as a hedge against the fact that you start with very... See, it happened again. That you start with very few Estus flasks if you're playing on New Game. And you can choose to keep very few Estus flasks. But this can have a chilling effect on exploration because you just don't have as much resources. So, what they do is they give you back Estus sometimes. And in response to victories. I don't know if there are any other parameters of this, why it happens and sometimes not. If there's some specific type of kill or efficacy of a kill or something that triggers it. But it does happen. It's basically what I know. Sniper spot ahead. Break this debris. Breakable debris is very useful in Dark Souls. I just heard my cat meow. She's trying to climb on my leg, so she might be joining us for this stream. Green blossoms. Those affect stamina regeneration. You can go ahead and see that guy there, and a few guys milling about down there. You could snipe up here. I don't want to, but you very well could. These little corridor areas don't push you out that much. A broadsword, that's cool. They seem fairly straightforward so far as it goes, although I like the way they weave in and out of the outside areas, that you will find yourself moving from very stuffy, foggy corridors to these open expanses where you get a view of this massive area. One of the things this game and all the Dark Souls games likes to do is play with space in that way. Play with confinement versus expansive, beautiful vistas. This is not a mimic. You can tell because I hit it and it didn't try to hit back. Silver Eagle Kite Shield. Excellent. You can see all these guys milling about down here. I could drop down here, but that seems awfully dangerous. Could pick them off with the bow. No. We'll be braver than that. It doesn't make for very good viewing, does it? Okay. Come here, Mr. Dog. hits. Where is everybody? Everybody just peaced out. Cool. I'll take that. No, I feel like they're probably gonna come back. There's a dude. Fucking yeah, great. Oh. Oh wow. These guys are really strong for basic hollow looking enemies. They look like the one-hit kill hollows, but they're much tougher. I think that is another way the game is using the training of previous Dark Souls games against the player. These guys look a certain way that suggests they're very easy, and then they're not. And you get killed. So that's fun. Here we are again at the High Wall of Lothric. It's the second bonfire. I didn't really comment on it, but you can see again the big expanse. What appears to be Lothric Castle, perhaps. Then you can see the live dragon and the dead dragon. I like to take care of this guy with a plunging attack. It's really simple and easy. Again, all these references to religious worship here, and the dragons as a focal point of it. These hollows praying to the dragons, which is interesting, particularly due to the things the game says about the nature of the hollows, that they're very basic creatures who have essentially lost their minds. All they do is really respond to very basic drives, which usually indicates murder in this world. It's interesting to me that the basic drive that motivates these hollows is sort of different. Whoa, I hit him and it still changed. Never happened to me before. Huh. Oh boy. Again, these guys are just freaking snake-like, and they erupt into ash. I never noticed that before. Everything erupts into ash here. Yeah, it looks like I am kind of covered in ash now. Like, the coloring on my armor, I think, has changed a bit, maybe? I'm not sure about that. But if so, that's very intriguing. Again, not sure how to get there other than jumping. That seems like a bad idea. But, yeah, I don't know how to get that treasure. You, I do not appreciate. But if I got to that real fast enough, I could have hit him while he was climbing up and would have fallen off and died. That was not that quick, unfortunately. The weapon I'm using right now is called the Black Blade. It's a type of katana. Katanas are handy in this game for a couple of reasons. They inflict bleed damage, which builds up over time, and once the bleed meter on an enemy fills, it does a large chunk of damage all at once. And there are a lot of enemies that are pretty vulnerable to bleed. Other players are also vulnerable to bleed, which makes katanas a pretty popular choice for PvP, or so is my understanding. And they tend to do just pretty powerful base damage. One weakness of katanas is that they're slower than other types of swords of this size. Long swords and their variations are very, very fast. Katanas are a little slower. Katanas also tend to scale well with dexterity. So if you want to play with a character who relies on dex, then katanas are a really effective way of doing that. Very useful. And that's what this character is, dexterity and faith. Dex being one of the main attack stats, along with strength, and faith dictating the efficacy of certain spells. Got this dude again. If you want to ambush me, you really shouldn't carry a light like that. It's sloppy, man. It's sloppy. I can see you because you're carrying a light, and it's dark. So, you know how you said we weren't going to use the bow? I changed my mind. Like I said, the game tricks you into taking these guys not as seriously as it should. Ooh, my souls. Especially on an original New Game playthrough, these guys can take a lot of punishment. And so the game encourages you to be like, oh, they're not that tough. They're just hollows, and you charge at them, sword swing in the wind, and you get your ass handed to you. The ambush, the makeup of the enemy patrols also owes a lot to Bloodborne here. Using the charging dogs to soften you up while there are patrols of enemies moving back and forth. That is very standard Bloodborne stuff. An Estus shard. Look at the description for that in a second. And charge up R2s, your heavy attacks like in Bloodborne. Very useful for taking out these guys that backstab them. A quick 1-2 punch that you don't really know how to deal with. Gonna break this stuff to be certain that we got everything in this room. I always miss something here. Breaking barrels is a good time. It's a happy party. So back to the quote I read. I really like what Chris says elsewhere in his review about this game as sort of the Super Mario World of Dark Souls. Super Mario World is an interesting game in that it takes basically everything Mario's done up to that point and renders it and I didn't want to do that. We're gonna put that on hold and deal with this. Okay. Not too bad. And roll away from those. That's not a fun attack. I'm breaking a lot of this armor, which suggests that maybe there aren't people in it? Talk about that in a minute. God, that guy hurts. I almost got him down though. Well, there we go. Okay. Big fatty. In this area, got a rapier full of corpses and armor surrounding this beautiful light shadowed fountain. What's here? That's not what I wanted to do. It's fine. Probably fine. So, a man or a woman, hard to tell, holding a large sword, looking to the sky. Hang on a sec. Having a little technical difficulty. Alright, better. I hit something and my game window accidentally moved. We have these sets of armor here that appear to be empty. First glance, it looks like some sort of major battle has happened here, but this armor has no bodies in it. What did happen here? Looks like these guys were in a fight and they lost, but what happened after that? Who happened after that? That other knight, was he an ally? The last survivor defending his comrades, or did he lose? What happened to these guys? It'll happen to you too, will it? There seems to be something else in dead. They have no heads. And the armor this guy is wearing is similar to the armor these guys are wearing. And it's another one of the big guys, like the one we took out. So what? Who killed? That's interesting. That sword. Let me look at that sword. It's not entirely clear what happened or who killed these guys. But Dark Souls encourages archaeology in that sense. It takes you to places like this, where something big clearly happened, but it's not clear what or to whom. Got an Estus shard that says a shard soaked in Estus. Give to the blacksmith at the shrine to increase his usage. That's a typo of the Estus flask. In the old days, it was rare to see an Estus flask far from its owner, but this shard offers hope, however shattered. In the old days. What? I guess we're in, the new days, apparently. But again, this raises the question of time. How long ago were the other Dark Souls games? Where does this game stand in reference to them? Everywhere, little questions and thoughts about the past and the game's relationship to it. Another archer. Let's see. Be wary of liar. Yeah, that guy's probably the liar. Be wary of liars, also note, will occasionally leave to indicate illusory walls. In this case, it was indicating the guy telling you there was an illusory wall. We have a lot of souls, don't we? Okay. We're gonna move up. Ambush ahead. Gotcha. We're gonna move this way. Oh yeah, that's an ambush. The basic weakest hollow stuff. Not terribly difficult to fight off. Again, all these swords stuck in the ground. So, these guys' weapons? These are flags? Sorry if the frame rate's stuttering a little bit. My suit does seem darker to me. Definitely darker. We'll see if that stays the same after I head to a bonfire. There's an elevator here. See if there's anything else around. We also got another item I want to look at. Look at the cell key. Key to a cell holding thieves and the like. Maybe that cell we saw earlier. There is no shortage of brash thieves in Lothric, and these particular thieves likely scaled the wall from the undead settlement, but they are only willing to practice their thievery on the high wall, for their fear of Lothric Castle, rumored to devour men, keeps them clear of its grounds. A couple things to unpack there. Their thieves come from the settlement and they scale the high wall. Possible indication, of what could have happened to some of these guys. Perhaps there was an insurrection of thieves and various vagabonds from the undead settlement that is apparently below here. They climbed up the high wall and attacked in some manner. That's a possibility. It's also possible that what happened to these soldiers who have no heads, no bodies, is related to Lothric Castle, which is rumored to devour men. We're near Lothric Castle, though it's unclear right now precisely where it is. And presumably we're near, since it's associated with the high wall, given that text. I guess it's there? You know what? I should probably pay more attention, that's what. As you may have noticed, I just opened a shortcut. This is something key to Dark Souls level design, that I opened a door. And by opening that door, I was able to return to an older part of the level, open up a lift, and the level circled back on itself, providing a way to access earlier areas and to find the safety of the bonfire. This is pretty standard Dark Souls stuff. I'm going to use an ember, return myself to embered state where I have slightly higher health, a couple other things maybe. Let's see what happens when I sit at this bonfire. Yeah, my model lightens up considerably, so it was again covered in, it didn't look like blood. Ash, perhaps? That's very interesting. I'm gonna go back to Firelink Shrine because I have a lot of souls. Like, a lot. How long have we been streaming? About half an hour-ish? Okay. See what you have to say, buddy.
What a sick joke. Asking us to seek the Lords of Cinder and return them to their moulding thrones. We're talking true legends, those who would link the fire. We're not fit to lick their boots.
I mean, speak for yourself, buddy. I think I'm pretty cool. Got Lady Firelink, the Firekeeper, who looks, it's notable, a lot like the Maiden in Black from Demon Souls, a game I'm not as incredibly familiar with as the other Dark Souls games. I never had a PlayStation 3, so I never really got a chance to play it, but
from these sovereignless souls.
The visual connection is very strong here. I want to put another point to faith.
Farewell, Ashley the
Cool. Let's see. Anything I can buy here? I'll buy these embers. To buy the tower key. I'll get that later. Bought some gear that I'll show you guys sometime in the future. Don't want to spoil anything. Yeah. Nah, I'm trying to avoid narrative spoilers here. Let's go back to the tower on the wall. We weren't finished exploring in that direction. What did they just do? So we went and got through that area with the Estus Shard and a couple other little things and the cell key. Let's see about that cell. Not today, friend. More thieves. I guess thieves from the Undead Settlement? Yeah, that seems to be the natural conclusion for who these guys are. There's a third guy. Oh, invaded by Dark Spirit Grindel. Pretty sure that's another player. So, guess you're gonna see me try some PvP. See how that goes. Buff my weapon. When you're embered, you can be invaded anytime. There's the other guy. Don't want to deal with him. This space is clear of enemies and has a lot of verticality. You can move up and down here. Drop down if need be. This seems a pretty decent spot to fight an invader who just ran the other direction. Gonna see if you can figure out where I am. Just gonna stand here cheerfully. Hey, buddy. Let's just wave. He did not see me. That's kind of hilarious. Unless he's hiding. He's not. He just doesn't know where I am. It's pretty funny. My lightning blade is gonna wear out. If I can get rid of you before he can move back. Alright. I made space for myself. I can retreat into this tower if I need to. These guys are dead, which makes for a good little combat arena should the student ever find me. Presumably he'll be able to hear the ruckus I'm causing. Yeah. Hey, bud. He's a warrior of sunlight and he's invading? Interesting. Warriors of Sunlight are typically... Okay, this is not... We're having some issues with the connection here, because these moves aren't connecting, but they are? I'm confused. I feel like I'm gonna lose a whole bunch of health at once, just randomly. There's one thing that looks like a discern here. any damage to him, which if I can keep hitting him with my weapon, I can do bleed to him, which would be very helpful. I don't want him to kill me. I'm not above playing dirty. He invaded my world after all. I didn't invite him. Was that bleed or was that just a standard hit? I can't tell. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Let's do this. Decent hit. Oh, pulled out a club. Didn't see that coming. Man. I won't invest this. I think I'm doing this one left. Try to keep it even at least. You're doing better with the club, buddy. Almost got a backstab on him. Got locked in the animation. He could have punished that. Should have. Club has bleed on it. A lacerating club. Not bad, buddy. I think he's gonna win this. And that should be good. One more hit and I'm down. Crap. I'm a short combo though when I have him. Oh, come on. Lag. And chances are you probably did get the hit. I like that. Just lay it down. Chances are he did get that hit, but it doesn't look like he did on my screen, which is frustrating. And there are some netcode problems. We'll stay unembered for a while, because I do want to make some progress. Invasions are cool. I don't mind they happen during the LP. I think they provide some interesting variety. But I do have some things I want to accomplish and discuss. I'm gonna drop down here. It's probably fine. Less fine than I had hoped. That dude patrols all around the room, so I think it's just bad luck that he happened to be there at that time. Although I imagine they have certain default starting positions whenever you load up the area. So, you have this locked door. My key does not work for it, so it's still not clear who's there or how to get to him. Will you do your nice little strat? Yep, there we go. Isn't that beautiful? Delightful, buddy. Just delightful. You can see down to the place where the cell is there. Or, no, that's somewhere else. You can see down that walkway. That's where I went to get the Estus flask. Still that same eerie, dusk-like mood. Yuselki.
Ah. You're no jailer, are you?
Mm-mm.
No, you're from far away. And judging by the bell, you must be some of that unkindled ash. Remarkable. If that's true, then I have a favor to ask. Below the high wall is a musty little town. Not the home of any lord, just a very old settlement of undead. An old woman, Loretta, lives there. Please, give her this ring. I'm not asking for charity. In fact, if you do this for me, I'll be sure to repay you in kind. I may be a petty thief, but I've more wits than most royalty. What do you say then, huh? Very well. I humbly place my faith in you. I am Grey Rat
Grey
of
Rat.
the Undead Settlement, and I promise to assist you. Give this ring to old Loretta at the base of the high wall. Do your part, and I'll do mine.
Blue tearstone ring. Wait, he just... Really? You just disappear like that? Why didn't you do that before, pal? Anyway, that is Grey Rat. Kind of a creepy guy. Gives you the blue tearstone ring, which may as well read it, huh? Blue tearstone ring. A ring set with a rare tearstone jewel. Temporarily boosts damage absorption when HP is low. The stone is said to be a tear of sorrow of the goddess Catha, and of course, tears are always more beautiful near death. Unnerving. Just a little unnerving. I don't know who Catha is, by the way. In case you thought I might have something very insightful to say about that, I really don't know about that one. Mr. Thief with his throwing knives. Pretty aggressive still. The attack cut through my shield. I know there are a lot of people who stream Dark Souls who don't use the lock-on, and I respect that, but I find lock-on to be pretty useful. The general complaint against it is that the camera in this game is pretty wonky as is, and that lock-on can remove some camera control that's important to maintain a consistent perspective. And I think, you know, that's a valuable argument. I can see why people are frustrated with the camera in this game, but it doesn't bother me all that much. As long as I'm focused on the bad guy, I'm fine. How do you get up there? Oh, alright, gonna try it. Not that. Ha, I made it! What is this? Fleshbite ring +1. The fleshbite ring protects against... One of the bite rings native to Kareem. Raises poison, bleed, frost, and curse resist. Cool. That's a New Game Plus thing. That's not in the original. Okay, we can go here. Trigger this little ambush again. Defuse it after failing a bit because we were trying not to use lock-on, and predictably it didn't work out. That's why I used lock-on. Object lesson. You can descend here down to this place with the bodiless, headless suit of armor. Down here, it looks like we're reaching the very lowest part of the high wall. Interestingly, it seems to just descend into a giant crevice down there. Doesn't seem to be an actual, like, surface. Which makes me wonder what's holding all this stuff up. Just arches across the high wall to whatever's on the other side of the crevice? Not sure. Okay, I know there's a hollow over here. One thing that's tricky about this area is the game will kind of push you over here while fighting this guy, and that one hollow will jump up and take you down. It's another way that the game messes with you, because generally the assumption, and usually it's a true assumption, that if these games are going to introduce a new, large, difficult enemy, they're going to introduce them in a place where you can get to know them one-on-one. And so you're going to be zeroed in, focused very heavily. And then, haha, one little hollow. You can find a lot of humor and personality in the enemy layout and level design of these places if you look for it. Okay, took care of him pretty handily. Got an Estus back for our trouble, that's nice. So this is where we were before. These statues also headless. Seems to be a running theme. What is it with this place and headless knights? Don't know. This is... Hey buddy. So this is where we unlock that shortcut. We'll take this path this time. Another large soul of a paladin. Way to draw back down there. Then item you can jump for. A ring of sacrifice. Ring of sacrifices are pretty cool items. We'll check it. The mystical ring was created in a sacrificial rite of Velka, the goddess of sin. Its wearer will lose nothing upon death, meaning you won't lose your souls, but the ring itself breaks, and will disappear permanently. A sacrifice is only worth as much as the life it spares. So we're beginning to reach the end of the High Wall of Lothric area. One other thing to talk about here is it references the Undead Burg in a lot of self-conscious ways. The Undead Burg being the first area of the first Dark Souls, which is the first main area after the tutorial if you follow the sort of standard progression route and difficulty curve. You can go anywhere you want really in the first Dark Souls, but for ease of conversation we're going to say Undead Burg is the first post-tutorial area. And there's a lot of references to it here in the enemy types and the layout of the wall. But perhaps the stronger reference in this area is to Anorlando, the big, majestic castle of the gods from the first game. We see this big, beautiful cathedral, light streaming through the trees, designed to call your eyes up to that window, and then call it down to this lush courtyard below, with actual life in it. So few things in these games have lives, everything is so often dead that these vines, these trees, it all stands out as marking this place as exceptionally beautiful and remarkable. And also autumnal. I mean, look at all the leaves on the ground, it looks like fall. So there's a reference here to the majesty, the size, the beauty of a castle like Anorlando, which is typically something to begin. There's just typically something that they don't begin these games with. It's not usually the feeling that they want to impress upon you. So I think the fact that they're trying to impress upon you a sense of grace and majesty and beauty of a place at the very start is notable here. It's big and beautiful and tortured. It conjures a grandeur in the midst of decay. Sort of like a beautiful, well-armed knight that just happens to not have his head. It's very grand and haunted here. That's a different feeling. And I think the choice to open up with that feeling, to bring that feeling to bear, is again a consideration of the fact that if you're playing this, chances are you have some familiarity with the other Dark Souls games. You've probably done this before. And the sequel seems very self-conscious of that. And so starting in a place like this is a bit of a way to just cut to the chase, right? This sort of a high, beautiful medieval fantasy, dark fantasy is what you expect, yeah? Let's fucking get to it then. But also, it's a chance to begin at, I think, an escalade point. To begin in this very pregnant moment, in this beautiful place. Instead of starting in kind of a low, run-down, weird little town where you can learn the ropes, it begins in this beautiful, majestic, broken place. And it starts from that escalade point, and that allows it to, I think, build a sense of drama in the mechanics and atmosphere starting very early on. And I think there's the sense that, you know, we don't have to build to it because we're already there. So we're going to start there and move further. We're going to escalate. And I find that very interesting. I'm going to try to say the word interesting less. It's a verb. Sorry about that. And Dark Souls 2 also begins in the first sort of main post-tutorial area. Let's learn a bit about these Lothric Knights before we talk about that, though. Yeah, we'll go to the leggings. Cathedral Lothric Knight leggings. Armor of a celebrated Lothric Knight. Strong steel leggings, if a little scratched. The knight has served as one of the 3 pillars since ancient times, and shares place alongside the wyverns as a symbol of Lothric. Only those possessing a knight's resolve are fit to wear this garment. So from this description you learn these are the ancient heraldic knights of Lothric, one of their 3 pillars, whatever that means. Along with the wyverns, they serve as symbols of Lothric. And along with the wyverns, they're dead and corrupted and mindless now. Like so much else here. These are the guys from the opening, the pilgrims in this intro CGI. It looks like blood, but also definitely I can see tinges of ash there. They're wearing these weird shell on their backs, carrying a staff with a little bit of incense. They look hollow, maybe. Their robes, you can't see their faces. And they're all dead. Seems they were processing toward this cathedral. And then they died. Some of them right on the footsteps. Try pincer attack. Let's see what's over here first. A knight standing over a couple of dead knights as if in mourning, defending them. A very evocative little placement here. It tells a little story on its own. He's different. You see he has blue cloth instead of the red, and he has bright red eyes. He's tough. He's tougher than the others. Still not exceptionally tough in New Game Plus, depending on when you enter New Game Plus. I'm a little too strong for it. I'm sure I'll face plenty of challenges later, and I'll laugh at myself for saying I was too strong for anything. But for now, he's not terribly difficult. But that's a very evocative little enemy placement there. More of these dead guys. You can't break that bit of armor. With the flag pushed through it as if a little memorial. Makeshift gravestone. Speaking of gravestones, I played the network stress test beta of this last October, and there was a feature that appears to be cut. Little gravestones that you could read were peppered through the environment. They would tell little stories about people who've died in the area. I mean, NPCs, not other players, but stuff like was pursued by the dark moon, was chasing a sun, you know, things like that. Was searching for the glory of the First Lord. Little snippets of lore tied to dead people, perhaps other unkindled people from the history of the world. They cut that for some reason. I'm not sure whether they thought it was poorly implemented, or just uninteresting, or clunky, I don't know. I did like the flavor added, in the sense that I've talked about before, that you're in a world full of other people who have not succeeded quite as much as you have, who have not quite made it where you are. The bloodstains of other players also suggest that. Entering a cathedral like this with a cracked door, your first thought as a player is going to be, oh, it's boss fight time.
The wait has been long.
She doesn't look like a boss to me.
I am Emma,
Though looks
High
could be
Priestess of Lothric Castle.
So is this the
Allow
castle?
me to speak frankly. You will not find the Lords of Cinder here. They have left, gone, to their journey homes converging at the base of this castle. Head to the bottom of the high wall, forge on through the great gate, and raise this banner to proceed. Unkindled one, go through the great gate, but beware. The dog keeps a close eye on things. The vile watchdog of the Boreal Valley.
Sure, it gives me a mission. And there's a knight who hasn't quite lost his head, but he's well on his way. Seems to be intent on removing his own. That's interesting. She looks a bit like the handmaiden Firelink Shrine. She says she's the high priestess of the castle. Nothing else here for now. Oh, there's a ladder up there. You can see someone climbing it. Someone's phantom. So you can get up there, though it's not clear right now how you can do so. These stairs are blocked off. Emma tells you to leave. What you're looking for is not here. Lords of Cinder are in their homes that they're churning homes that converge at the base of this castle. What does she mean churning? Converging at the base. Let's see what this has to say. Hold up outside the main castle gate to be greeted by an escort. When the high wall appeared, the path to the undead settlement was blocked, and messengers came bearing this banner. They were sent out with a duty, but had no way of returning. When the high wall appeared... So the high wall wasn't... It doesn't say built, which is interesting. It says appeared. As if the high wall just suddenly apparated out of nowhere. Which, I think, along with the intro, which talks about Lothric as an unstable space, Lothric as the converging point of the home of the land of Cinder, along with her words about churning, along with this idea of appearing, it suggests to me that we're living and playing here in a sort of a hybrid world. A world built or formed out of fragments of others. Of the past, maybe? Other dimensions? I don't know. Converging at the base of Lothric Castle, as if the castle... It also explains why there doesn't seem to be a clear way down from the high wall to the undead settlement. That bridge is broken. But the bridge also doesn't seem to lead to the castle in the first place. As if... Well, as if it isn't supposed to be here. As if the bridge used to go somewhere else. As if this place just one day appeared. And is now being watched. By the watchdog of the Boreal Valley. By the undead settlement. The walls scaled by thieves. Attacked by people from strange lands and another time, another place entirely. Let's see. Speaking of the watchdog, he emerges from a churning mist, frozen mist looks like, big, as a giant mace, armored, animalistic, predatory, definitely a dog, though a fat, weird one. I don't know many dogs that wear suits of armor. Vort. I love that name, Vort. Reminds me of the sound the enemies in Halo make the elites. Wart. I like it. Okay, let's talk about Vort's moves. When you see a big guy like this in Dark Souls, you think, oh, he's not going to be that fast. Vort's really fast. He's faster. Also very aggressive. Like a lot of Dark Souls bosses, the trick is to get at his butt. But he also punishes you for assuming he won't be that quick or that challenging. This is the first proper boss after the tutorial, and he's a fast character. If you're not prepared for those moves, they will destroy you. He charges around the area. He dominates space. You can't just simply slide away and recharge and breathe like you can with a lot of big lumbering bosses that Dark Souls past. You have to stay close. You gotta be ready for his moves. You gotta roll under his fast strikes. You have to not heal right before a strike. Fort. So, this stream is running a little long. It's been about an hour, which I think is about right. And I do have a habit, apparently, of ending on death, so we'll stop there. Next time we'll conquer Vort at the Boreal Valley and move down from the high wall to the undead settlement and whatever else lies beneath. This has been Dark Souls 3: The Second Journey, Episode 2. I am your host, Jake Muncy. You can follow me at Twitter at Jake Muncy, JakeMuncy. Feel free to follow me there. Tell me how wrong I am about Dark Souls or anything else, or just tell me that you like watching. And you can catch new episodes being streamed on Twitch, and afterward they'll be uploaded to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/JakeMuncy. So that is all. Thank you very much. Let's rest.